Hey guys, this is Tom Hanks. Welcome to the start of season 2 in the Tom Hanks Racing series, and welcome. I'm KR, and congrats of being first. I will switch to BeamNG in just a second. Give me a moment here. Still some final prep to be done. Right here. Okay. Good. With that all out of the way. Go to BeamNG. I'll have this up. And there we go. Alrighty. So welcome to race 1 in season 2 of the Tom Hanks Racing series. As I'm sure the people watching are aware, this time we are doing GT-esque race cars. So vaguely inspired or vaguely based on GT3 regulations, although of course with a whole bunch of other changes. We will start easy in round 1 with Lakeside Park main circuit, and here we will do rolling start, 3 laps, fastest lap counts. In case Teacup or Tess are already watching, I would appreciate if you could open a spreadsheet and keep track of the fastest lap time for each car. That would make it a lot easier for me to then, announce the results in the end. Easy. I mean, for the most part, it's easy, right? For the most part, it's not a hard track. Like it's not. Well, wish that was actually in BeamNG, but it's not like Hockenheimring, right? It's comparatively, beginner friendly, so to speak. Yeah, the first braking zone does take a little bit of practice to get used to, but I think it's not too bad, all things considered. As always, I will warm up in my own car. This is the car that you originally saw in the very first card that I made. This is the AMW Hydra GTH. It uses a 2.4 liter twin turbo flat plane V8. It makes 510 horsepower, I think. 1225 kg. Uses a vertical stabilizer. I haven't seen that on any other car actually, surprisingly. Has diffuser, huge rear wings, canards, everything you can name. Not the fanciest livery, to be honest with you, but overall a modern and aggressive looking car. The fastest I've ever raced around this track, honestly, I don't remember. I didn't really keep track of my times. Also, I have gone because the way that I'm gonna have to build up to this one, lead up to this one a little bit. But what you see up here is the replay UI gizmo. And the reason that's there is that when I create, typically when I create my like trailer or announcement video for a challenge, whatever you might want to call it, I use in-game footage from some laps in which I race around a given track, and then kind of use different camera angles and then cut it all together, and then put the voiceover on top of that. And this replay function is very important for that. Now, I know how to disable UI apps in BeamNG, but if we go to free roam, and I'll show you this in right now, then you can, because you can only edit UI apps in free roam for some reason, not when you're in a time trial mission. All right, UI apps, and then I select time trial mission, edit apps, and you see it time trial mission is where it should be. It's not here. And then I've also tried adding the replay app again and putting it somewhere else, like here in this area, went back to a time trial and it was still up there. So I currently I don't know how to get rid of it. And the replay is not in any other of these either. Like, this is the performance timer, but then the time trial mission, the replay isn't showing here when I'm editing UI apps, but when I actually go to the time trial, then it's there and then I can't get rid of it. So sorry for that. Alt Shift U. Okay. Okay. There you go. Thank you. Who knew it could be as easy as this? So I will of course be driving all of the cars in sport mode, and the ones that have traction control, I will disable it. And so now that we got the annoying part out of the way, let's get started. Also, hey Tez, welcome to the stream. The game is a bit too loud. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I still had it set to what it was for the Junior Rally cars, where some of them were actually pretty quiet, and now these GT racers are gonna be a bit louder, of course. So haven't accounted for that. Is it any better now in terms of the audio balance? Almost perfect, okay. I'll take almost perfect. That was way too early for the breaking point, though. That was not almost perfect. Same here, way too early. I think I'm gonna take another run of 3 laps to warm up, if that's okay with everyone. I swear I've driven on this track before. It's just that everything's coming together, like the quote-unquote pressure of needing to perform, and also the adjusted monitor height, and okay, I'm gonna do another 3 laps. Yep, that line there. Thank you for the subscription, name I won't read out. This last corner, in my opinion, is also pretty hard to hit well. Much harder, in my opinion, than that first corner. It's like you put like here. Okay, a little bit later than that, but I did get it right in the first lap. Car could use a little bit more front downforce. But also I didn't wanna overdo it, because too much front downforce is gonna make well, for one, I couldn't get any more front downforce, because otherwise the automation warning that the car bottoms out at speed would have popped up, and secondly, too much front downforce is going to make the car want to oversteer in high speeds, and that's the last thing you want. Still a lot of room for improvement, not gonna lie. Yeah, I guess in the interest of trying to get my consistency back up, and making it so that whatever times I get are actually going to be representative of a car's performance in my hands anyway, I'm gonna do one more run. Practice makes perfect, or at least as perfect as you're capable of. Practice makes consistent. There you go, that's a better line for you. There I use the power just a little bit to get the car turned in. This is also kind of a weird corner because it's like a double apex. This was a much cleaner lap already. Not sure why the car came loose on the braking there, it never did that before. Anyway, I think I found my rhythm on the track. We will start in alphabetical order with the Aeon A3ZZ Solpier GTR6C by Noodle. This has a 5-liter V8, naturally aspirated. It makes 500 horsepower and it weighs 1200 kilos. And there's a lot of like sculpting and molding and 3D fixture using in place here. Like this started out with the Corvette body, the 2000, whenever it unlocks, 2006, 7-ish Corvette coupe body, and from the rear 3/4 you can tell that, but the front obviously looks completely different. In fact, what this reminds me of is the Panos Esperante GT1R, whatever it was called, from the late 90s, early 2000s. It's got traction control. Now obviously while I have driven each competitor's car before, I haven't driven them nearly as much as I drove my own car during testing and everything, you know. So don't expect my times with these cars to get close to what the creators themselves get out of them. Not least of which because I'm actually not that good of a driver. But I'm trying my best, you know. For some reason, I get from this car, I get like, especially from the rear and from the soundtrack, I get vibes from like what was that thing called? Not the SLS Black Series, but like the SLS whatever GT3, SLS GTR, whatever, the race spec version of it. And there you go. That's a 52.047 for the Aeon A3ZC. And then, next up in line, we have the Durandal Cassowary by Arma Motors. This looks kind of like a McLaren on the front. And just from the visuals alone, it feels a little bit like it doesn't have the same sort of depth and detail that Arma Motors cars you know, had in previous competitions. So, and this was also sent in like on the last day of submission, so maybe it was a bit rushed. Either way, we'll find out shortly. This has a 3-liter quad turbocharged V12, also making 500 horsepower, and the car weighs 1200 kilos. So from a 5-liter naturally aspirated V8 in the Aeon, we now have a 3-liter quad turbo V12. Also, this of course is mid-engined, whereas the Aeon was front-engined. When I imported the car, it didn't tell me that there were any mods missing. So because thankfully, and I was actually extremely thankful for this, Automation has recently added added the feature that when you import a car and that uses mods you don't have, it has a button that says subscribe to all and enable. And I used that on pretty much every car that was sent in here that had mods I was missing. Now this is a little bit wobbly, and this has by far the least amount of downforce out of any car in the field, and it shows just the overall cornering performance in the higher speed stuff is not there compared to other cars. course, more downforce also means better braking performance. Oh no, I hit a curb mid-corner. Let's try that again. Now, believe it or not, but we also have an inline-4 in the field. So we have inline-4s, we have an inline-4, we have an inline-6, we've got at least one V6, we've got a Boxer 6, we've got a V8, we've got a V12. I don't actually think we have a V10 this time around, if memory serves. But then again, I am getting older, I'm 30 now. So might be a V10 that I can think of at the moment, but okay, scrap this lap, let's try to do better on the next lap. This actually has a sort of tendency to understeer. And while you would normally expect that to be fairly easy to correct with some throttle input, the mechanical grip, aka the way it puts down power to the tire, is actually strong on this one. It just doesn't have the downforce, which means it suffers a little bit in terms of braking performance and in terms of high speed cornering. Just about in time for the breaking point. Sketchy. Actually barely faster than the previous lap. Do we count that? Do we count that last lap with the little bit of technically shortcutting? Looks like yes, given the time that was entered in the spreadsheet. It wasn't voluntary cutting. Anyway, next up is the FNS Macro GT500. Net zero gain. Yeah, and especially considering that also I had a little bit of trouble right after the cut as the car came sliding. But this here is if I'm not mistaken, front engined. Is it? Either way, it has a 1.6 liter inline 4 turbo that makes 500 horsepower. Pretty crazy. And it also weighs 1200 kg. Quite a lot of people actually went for exactly 500 horsepower and 1200 kg. In fact, almost everyone did. Oh, it's a mid-engine THRS. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, sport mode. Also, this one, when I already figured this one out. I figured out that this during my test drive with this that it requires a sort of a different driving technique. In that the front end is on turning not as quick as most other cars. But then once it settles into a corner, that's when you can start applying out. So it's sort of like slow in, fast out. And boy does it go fast out, because this is definitely one of the quicker cars in a straight line. Did I miss that checkpoint? I think I did, right? Second quickest accelerating car. We'll try that again. Second quickest accelerating car, and that's with a 1.6 liter inline 4. Going up against V8s and V12s. But yeah, the gearbox is tuned really well for this engine. Okay. Can't break that leg. See, I'm trying to anticipate the sort of initial kind of front-end wash that this car has on turn-in by just turning in a little bit earlier. But now I gotta get the timing right, you know, it's hard to get consistent at that. I feel like it can be fast though. Okay. Didn't expect to see a car roll today. But that curb has cost me the run on another car before, so gotta watch out a little bit better on that particular corner next time. Definitely avoided the curb that time, but also completely missed the apex. Second. I feel like I got in the groove with this car in this lap. I feel like this lap is going to be a little bit slower than the last one. Actually, substantially slower at the end. But yeah, 53.598 for the FNS. Next in line is the HFF Black Widow 1 by Adderall. Previous season champion. The defending champion, if you will. This has a 2.6 liter single turbo V6. Making 503 horsepower and weighs 1213 kilos. $1,212. I think to be precise, it's 1212.5. $820 Nm of torque at like 2400 RPM or something like that, yeah. Really torquey, and very flat power band. So this will actually make 500 horsepower for most of the ref range. Which is a similar concept to what her previous car in the last season had. The Junior Rally car also had a very wide power band. Here we've got a lot more downforce working for us, but also, as you can see, coming out of corners, a little bit of trouble putting down all that torque. I wanted to spare you the images there. So I hit the reset button before it was too late. But yeah, this car is, I think, quite adequately named the Black Widow. Because while it is quick and for the most part stable, there are situations, yep, like that, where it can absolutely kill you. Handling wise, it's really nice. It's so precise. Unintended rhymes there. But I think the engine has a little bit too much torque for what the tires can handle. That wasn't the case last season, not only because the engines there in general were much smaller and less powerful, but also because obviously on the rally cars we had four-wheel drive, whereas this is only rear-wheel drive. Well, it's a struggle, but the 51.955 was the lap we did get in. That was already pretty good. I feel like with rear-wheel drive cars, see, here's the thing, here's how I would describe the car a little bit, if I may. And this is not meant as a critique, it's more of an observation, a review if you want. The engine in isolation is awesome. The chassis, the handling tune and the downforce tune is awesome, but combined, when you put the two together, because this is only rear-wheel drive and there's only so much grip you can get from two wheels, even if they are semi-slicks with plus 10 quality, it just means that these two rear tires simply can't put down all of the torque that this engine generates. If the car was all-wheel drive, I'm sure it would be absolutely excellent. But of course, all-wheel drive isn't allowed in this season. That was a really bad first section. Okay. So 52.086 was the best in when I did the 3 laps. 51.955 was the one I did earlier. This is the wrong car, by the way, Teacup. This was not the Mara, this was the HFF. So this was actually barely slower than the Aeon when we did the 3 laps, slightly faster when I only had the 1 lap. So, but we do take the time from here. Need a bit more of it. I think yeah. It's very much makes the car something other than the sum of its parts. Indeed. It's how everything works together that matters the most. True. That can also be said for the for all-wheel drive builds, I think. Only the difference is that while all-wheel drive gives you a lot more grip coming out of the corners, it tends to also come with some turn-in understeer or mid-corner understeer. So then you gotta balance the suspension differently, but you still have a little bit of a compromise to make. Hello, Grid Ghost. Welcome to the stream. But yeah, I think the point I was trying to get at with the HFF is, I think with rear-wheel drive cars, when you're getting into the higher power levels like we are here, I think there the engine being a little bit more gradual with its torque, rather than being, you know, a huge spike at one point, would have made the car a lot easier to drive. This has a 4.6 liter V8 making 500 horsepower, car weighs 1200 kilos, and it's front engine rear-wheel drive. This is the Mara Paragon. And it likes to dance, it seems. Also low downforce on this one. So yeah, this is hard to drive, which is not what I expected from a car coming from NDD, because traditionally his cars have always been very good, very precise, well balanced, and among the best. Tamara actually came tied second in the previous season, so I had high expectations of this car coming in, but I think it's just missing downforce and a little bit of suspension tuning. Downforce means the braking performance isn't on par with the rest, and neither is the cornering abilities of the car. Right on the edge for the braking for the first corner. Washing white because there's no front downforce. Almost lost it there because there's no rear downforce. See, I'm trying to push it to the limit, but whenever I do, I just get punished. And so the fastest lap was actually the first one. 55.055. This is the slowest car yet. Not what I was expecting from the Mara. Next is the Phoenix GT3 TT by Harmless. Now this has a 1.55 liters, let's just say 1.6 liter inline 6 twin turbo. That's very muffled. It is front engined, rear drive. I think front engined. Yeah, I think it's front engined. And 2.85 bars of boost. if you couldn't already figure that one out by just hearing 1.55 liters and 500 horsepower. Well, technically I didn't say 500 horsepower yet, but yeah, this is another one that makes exactly 500 horsepower and weighs exactly 1200 kg. doesn't really feel like a GT3 car when the tire noise is louder than the engine noise, you know. But handling wise, it's actually a pretty competent car. I feel like this car can go around a little bit faster still around some of these corners. So I'm gonna try to push a little bit harder on this last lap. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. We're just gonna count the second lap then. 54.185. I feel like that was a pretty clean lap anyway. And I was behind on the third lap. So next is the Placard Corsair GTA 100 Phoenix by none other than my mod Teacup. Now this has a... What's the cubic capacity on this? So that's like a 4.3 liter V8. .3, 4.2. 500 horsepower, 1200 kg. And of course mid-engine rear-wheel drive, 4.3. Yeah. Flat plane V8. And immediately this car means business. Could have braked even later, and even though I already thought I was too late. There I went into that corner a little bit too quickly. Even though this was kind of a messy lap, 51.4. Okay, very messy there. Probably not gonna improve on that second lap, but I was happy with that second lap anyway. Especially not gonna beat it now. So that'll be a 51.066 for the placard. By far the quickest car so far. However, we have two more contenders here. Next up is the Scarab THRS MR-GT3 Mark 11 Scarab. Well, actually Scarab is the brand name, sorry. No idea why Beam lists the name on some cars twice, but not on others. Anyway, this has a 2.4 liter. This is made by Grid Ghost. This has a 2.4 liter Boxer 6 single turbo engine, mid-engine layout, rear-wheel drive, of course. The looks are sort of I don't know how to describe it. There isn't much of a livery to it, but it does look like a serious race car nonetheless. The feel of this car, because it is different from the black card. Went a little bit wide there, late on the brakes. I feel like it has maybe a little bit less front downforce than the placard, so it doesn't have the same sort of, it doesn't stick it doesn't hug the inside of the corners as much as the placard does. Alright, let's go. Thread lap. carrying as much momentum as I can out of the corner. And actually this was slower than the first lap. I feel like there's a lot more in this car than I got out of it here. I don't think this lap did the car justice. So, do we want to give it another go? Or do we just say no, everyone gets one go at the 3 laps? But we had a few cars that did like 1.5 laps and then I spun it and then they got a 3-lap run. So they technically got more than 3 laps. Okay. Okay. And last but certainly not least is the Tempus Mag Mobile GTTH by Kenshiro. Now this, I have to say, not only has the most elaborate livery out of any car, it looks like a proper like factory race car, that as you would expect it. Like, look at this thing. Roll cage, big wing, huge amount of decals, side pipes, canards, dive planes, everything. Everything. Right? Engine-wise, we're looking at a 3.7 liter naturally aspirated V6. It makes 500 horsepower and the car weighs 1,200 kilos. Already braking much later than most cars, but or than some cars, but still way too early for what this car is capable of. Like on these sort of more high-speed sections of the track, where it's like the longer straights and the slight bends. This may potentially lose a little bit of time because it's so high downforce. But on the flip side, it carries so much speed through every corner that it doesn't really matter that it doesn't have the same high-speed acceleration that some other cars have, like the Durandal or like, I guess, my own car. So this car is front engine rear drive, but by the way that this sticks to the road, you'd never tell that this is actually front engine rear drive with 500 horsepower. right, pretty consistent. 50.4, 50.5, 50.7. .471 for the Tempus Mag Mobile. The cornering speeds of this are absolutely insane. This is I think like 900 or so kilos of downforce, front and rear. Near top speed. It does have a significantly lower top speed than some other cars here, and you may see that come into effect on tracks like Spa later on. But here, this was pretty much unbeatable. So, in ranks of fastest lap time, we have the Tempus Mag Mobile in first place. Then we have the Placard Corsair in second place. Then the Scarab in third. Then we have really closely in fourth the Aeon A3ZC, followed by the HFF Black Widow by less than 0.05 of a second. Then there's a pretty big jump. I think next in line is the FNS Macro. Actually, let me just do something like this here. Sort range. There we go. Yeah, the HFF, then the FNS Macro, then the Phoenix GT3, then the Durandal, and last place was the Mara Paragon. Meaning, yeah, since we have 10 competitors here, oh, sorry, 9 competitors here, we will do the scores. Let's just say the top like what do we say? The top 8 get points. No. Let's just give everyone points. Doesn't matter. So 18, 16, 14, and so on. And last place gets 2 points. Yeah. So thank you for watching. Impressive performance by Kenshiro's car. Next race will be next Saturday at 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time, and that will be at the Toban Raceway. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.